Today we'll see the difference between brainstorming and focus group as described in the BABOK. Now I'm not going to get into the details of both the techniques. This will be more like a snippet that will highlight the difference between the two to give you an idea of when to use what and also choose the right app option as part of your CBAP exam preparation. Now let's start with brainstorming. As the name suggests, it is about generating new ideas by fostering creative thinking. And for this reason, it needs to have participants from diverse backgrounds so that you get a lot of unique ideas and perspectives. Let's try to do an example to understand this better. A very interesting example from the recent times is Swiggy, a food delivery app in India. During COVID times, they literally went out of business as all the restaurants were closed. And obviously, the organization had no option to think about product enhancement, but they were in a position to do something about sustaining their business model. So, creative thinking or generating new ideas is what's required here. Interestingly, in a few months, they launched a new feature called Swiggy Genie, which is to help support people by home delivering grocery products and medicines at their doorstep at a nominal rate. And this was a huge hit. Now, something like this is a typical example of outcome from a brainstorming event. Let's get on to focus group. So focus group is to gather ideas or opinions about a specific product feature or a service that has some scope for improvement. As this is very specific, to get valid ideas, you need to have qualified set of participants who are usually subject matter experts in that domain. Now let's try and understand this also with an example. Uber. Now, after receiving few complaints and misevents that happened with regards to the safety of their customers due to problematic cab drivers, Uber had a clear problem statement to work with. It had to do something about reassuring passenger safety. Now, for this reason, it probably brought out a group of subject matter experts to discuss and come out with various options of what could be done. And because their problem objective was very clear, to enable the customers and their loved ones feel safe throughout the entire ride. They started discussing. It's very centric to this point. So that's the core idea, right? So you know the answer, what they did. So Uber brought in a feature called Share My Trip or Follow My Ride, which will allow the passengers to let their family members keep track of their ride status. So this kind of gives you the fundamental difference between brainstorming and focus group, and probably help you to distinguish of when to use which technique. And while you're preparing for your exam also, especially for scenario based questions, when you see the scope for creative thinking where a lot of new ideas are required to address that particular problem statement, probably we have to go for brainstorming. And then if it is more about a specific product or a specific service feature, and they're discussing about a core problem statement very centric to that, then the answer is focus group. Hope that gives you some idea to differentiate between the two.